Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Fallen London. Today we're going to be carrying on with the exceptional story, the Sunken River. We're about to go to the bridge. A tolling of a bell and a naval whistle. Your presence is required in the bridge. Let's join the officers. You've made good time sailing just below the surface. The first leg of the journey is over. As soon as you arrive at the bridge, the navigator cedes you the use of the periscope and instructs you to look out. You are close to the shores of the elder continent. The light of the mountain shines hazily in the distance, illuminating jungles, hills, distant cities. Closer to the ship, you can see Adam's Way, the gateway to the Presbyterate, a city built around the mouth of a wide, red river. The river has no name. It goes unacknowledged by long custom. Its existence is not addressed in polite conversation. Its source is an ancient wound on the mountain's side, out of which pours an unending deluge of blood. It carries exuberant, uncontrolled life with it. Those who fall in do not die, but neither do they persist in any recognizable form. They are changed irreversibly. Here, where it mixes with the Zee, the blood of the mountain comes down in clotted masses that break apart as they float away. Little scarlet icebergs riding the waves. They lap at the ships traversing the harbour. Sometimes, where these hulls meet the blood, they blister, or warp, or scream. Zee air has a characteristic scent, of course. One stops noticing it, but it's always there. Salt, urea, mildew, petrichor. But here, very nearly sailing up this river of blood, all you can smell is iron. Okay, prepare to submerge. Fill the ballast 50 fathoms. The captain gives the order, matter-of-factly. It is the boatswain who shouts, "All hands ready for descent!" Down we go. The interior of the questionable has a noisy, almost ruckus atmosphere. It's inevitable in such tight confines, trapped in this metal coffin. Sound cannot escape, and men make jokes to keep their fear at bay. But when the bell sounds and the officers gather in the bridge, a hush falls over the ship. Descent is, to the submariner, a sacrament. But watch the descent. Look outside the ship. What awaits us below? Hold your breath, or I hope not. The boatswain slithers away to give you an unobstructed view through a porthole. This is something you should witness. Hard to see at first. The ship pulls surf from the surface as it descends, which obstructs the view through the porthole. Dials climb steadily upwards, indicating the rising pressure. Rivulets of blood on the surface of the water lap at the metal skin of the submarine. But when the ship is fully submerged, the water calms down and clears. And then, with the aid of glim lamps, you can see it. Not all the blood of the mountain simply floats off to sea in clotted clumps. Most of it sinks. It falls into a deep trench at the edge of the elder continent, an underwater waterfall of crimson. It sinks to the floor of the Zee. A sunken river. A wound on the bottom of the Zee, flowing with the mountain's lifeblood. Down the abyssal plain, away from the elder continent. and towards the Z's own wild heart. Well, let's hear the captain's orders. Her eyes are still fixed on the periscope, slowly swiveling around, searching for pursuers, perhaps. Open our lungs. 3/4 engines, the usual heading. This is a familiar route then, following this crimson trail at the bottom of the Z. She takes you aside. This voyage has only one destination, down the length of the river towards the very heart of the Z. There, the mountain's blood has formed into something of incredible value. That, then, must be the source of the rubies. Come see me in my cabin before the end of the watch. There's another matter we must discuss. You have a bit more time now. Though matters will still progress on their own after you explore a bit, and don't keep the captain waiting. Should we go see the captain first? She did say at the end of my watch, and I guess that was the end of my watch, so let's go straight to the captain. Talk to the Unsanctioned Zubmariner. She's expecting you. You find her nervously swirling gin in a glass in a gesture of simmering impatience. I am to tell you 2 things. The first is our destination. If you have any sense of direction at all, you will recall that we briefly visited Apis Meet, then headed north, following the Sunken River. Presumably, you are headed to its source, the very heart of the Z where these come from. She gestures to a little row of crimson gems on her desk. The other matter, there is a spy aboard. A man from the Admiralty, perhaps? The reason why is known to me. I do not expect you to ferret out who it is. You don't know the ship, you don't know the crew. I am offering no bounty, but you should know to be cautious. She grimaces. You should at least know to expect the unexpected. A spy aboard? Other than yourself? If the Admiralty already has someone on the inside, why do they need you? Or is this another naval power? Or something else entirely? Evidently, there's much you haven't been told. Finding out may well be your only means of returning in one piece. Okay, so shall we see who's on the deck? We talked to the navigator last time, but this is a new navigator. One of her eyes is glass, delicately painted with a colourful pattern. Can I talk to her? Are you worried about how we stay on course beneath the waves? She sips tea from a chipped cup. We follow the river by sight. If we cannot, we navigate by dead reckoning. It is those times when you should worry. In the dark, errors can compound, and we might sail straight into the base of a stalagmite. She gives you a hollow laugh. But do not worry. We keep the glim lamps lit and ready. Well, that's terrifying. Can we do anything in the engine room? We can examine the engines again, but we already passed that check, so I don't think I'm going to do that again. Anything in the mess hall? I could try gambling. Let's try gambling. We didn't do this last time. Nice. The universal pastime of bored sailors everywhere. Oh, I won. Your winnings are, of course, a shiny gem, the colour of blood. What else is there to wager in this ship? Okay. Anybody else on the deck? Let's greet the gunner. She seems relaxed. Cheerful, even. It's good living, really, she grins, showing you half gold, half ivory. Captain's got a line on rare treasure, and this ship puts the fear of the Fathom King on anyone. We hardly have to fire a shot. Her fingernails, you notice, are blackened with gunpowder, nevertheless. Some of the lads get nervous on these expeditions to the heart of the Z, but me, I'm a true corsair, and I know there's much worse we could be doing. Okay, well, we still have time here. Let's talk to the bosun. Say, where are you from? I am an exile, the bosun says. His expression is difficult to read, but he seems unbothered by your questions. Most of everyone on a pirate vessel is an exile, no? Although my origins are more visible than most. True enough. Anything we do with the captain's cabin? I mean, I spoke to her. Is the captain in? She was when we talked to her, but maybe she left. You can hear her inside. Damn. Let's try the engine room check. 60% chance. We failed. Like everything on the ship, the engines are unmarked. Dials, levers and cranks abound, but labelled only with symbols or numbers, never words. This machine was built by someone who didn't want to be identified. The exact workings of the machine are a mystery to you. Let's gamble again. Maybe I can make some money. Oh wait, let's converse with the sailors. We might actually have new stuff here. You've gone down with the ship now. You are one of the crew. Maybe they'll open up. There are still secrets they don't tell you. Those must be things that they won't talk about at all. They'll tell you about their lovers left on shore, about the winding ways that brought them to London and then to the sea. But they won't say what worries them, what plants that sharpness in their jokes, what makes them look behind their shoulder in an enclosed metal box. Perhaps you don't yet know the right questions to ask. Oh, well, there's the naval whistle. It appears you've reached another critical juncture in your trip. The Unsanctioned Zubmariner steps aside to let you look through the periscope. We've reached the first difficult leg of our journey. It takes a moment for your eyes to understand what you're looking at. A mass of dull green and brown, swaying in the water currents. A kelp forest. Who knew such a thing could exist in the Neath? Its roots drink the mountain's blood. Its leaves drink the mountain's light. It is terribly alive. And terribly dangerous. This must deter most would-be undersea explorers from coming this way. But the river itself carves a path if you have a skilled enough pilot. He nods suggestively towards the helmsman's station. Excuse me, you want me to drive? It appears the actual helmsman is late for his shift. Eyes fixed on you as you take hold of the levers that steer the ship and command the engines. Like everything else aboard, they are no expense spared marvels of engineering. Exquisitely knurled steel. Hair-thin tolerances. Perfect fit and finish, even given a couple decades of wear. It's almost enough to dispel the inherent terror of being held responsible for a fragile metal shell in hostile water, and the 50-odd souls aboard. The course laid before you is to follow the river closely, but not too closely. The river's presence creates a gap in the kelp. A gallery that can be transversed by a ship of the questionable size. Veer into the banks and the ship will be tangled in the kelp, descend into the mass of roiling blood, and the ship will surely be lost. And if you were to ascend, the navigator gives you a feline smile. There's no way to follow the river from above. We can only navigate down here, where we can see it. Oh my God, we're in trouble. We can glide silently through the kelp. You are ordered discretion. This uses our shadowing. Call for speed. It's only seaweed. Cut through it. Dangerous gives us 57% chance. Or we can steer the ship by touch and memory. This is not your first time piloting. If I put on my seafaring outfit, Captain of the Z's, does that make that go higher? 80% chance. Let's go with that. 3/4 speed. Wait, They changed the colours of the icons again. Weren't they all red in the last episode? Am I losing my mind? Is this just a practical joke? Is that what's going on here? Every time I look down here, it's just different. Admittedly, I like these more than everything being red because these look very much interesting. I like it. Let's go. 3/4 speed. We failed? Oh god. The swaying of the kelp has a particular rhythm. If you attune yourself to it, the ship can cut a path untouched. The tolerances are tight. And the strands of sticky, tangled seaweed will drag you back. As you pilot the ship, you keep a wary eye on the portholes. They distort the world outside into fish-eye shapes. Green stalks, pelagian water. Okay, hang on. Hang on, let's try again. We succeeded. The swaying of the kelp has a particular rhythm. A loud noise startles the crew. Something hitting the hull of the ship? Hard? Bound sharks, exploratory bite. Checking to see if the metal hulk is made of food. Afraid not, my friend. Let's try that again. We succeeded again. Another collision against the ship. Something fast and crimson slithers against the porthole. Just briefly. The captain has seen it too. Keep going. We're almost out. One last time. Okay, yeah, we're almost out. The ship follows the path of the river below, delicately navigating the turns and bends. All around you is dull green and shadow. Let's clear the kelp forest. The end is in sight. Open waters. You're approaching the last turn now. Beyond, the river runs through a trench under the open sea. Hard to starboard, the captain calls. Heading 017. Your hand tightens around a lever. Pull slowly. And nothing. All of a sudden, the controls are limp. You have no control of the ship. No one has control of the ship. Terror in the officer's eyes. The captain doesn't blink. Full stop. You yank the lever on the engine telegraph. Dead, too. A wall of dull green kelp envelops the ship. The captain curses in 2 languages, neither of them English. She addresses the bosun. Get to the engine room. Reverse engines. He turns to you. Go with him. As you get up from the helmsman's station, a noise rocks the ship. The hull is entangled. The engines are still pushing the ship into the weeds. And that mass of green is contracting. Oh no. The bosun uses his 4 arms, and you only just noticed, 3 legs, to scutter at speed down the length of the submarine. Your sprint can barely keep up. Let's follow him. The engine room is at the very back of the ship. By the time you get to the engine room, short of breath, the bosun has been there for half a minute. The engine room is a crucible of steam, heat, and moving machinery. The engines grind and strain. The ship must be completely stuck in the kelp. 3 bodies lie on the metal floor. The ship's engineer and an able Z-woman lie unconscious, or dead, in bloodied uniforms, and the helmsman, the same one who didn't report for duty, is pinned to the ground, with the bosun's hands upon him. The engines, quick! The bosun yells. Full reverse! Let's pull the lever. The hull groans, rivets rattle out of their holes. No time to argue. You have to back the ship out of the kelp now. The engine of the Nix-class submarine is a delicate and precise piece of machinery. made out of the highest grades of steel, milled and turned into perfect pieces that were then hand-fitted by the most talented machinists her anonymous manufacturer could hire. You slam the levers that control her speed all the way to full reverse. In 3 decades of existence, this engine has never been so mistreated. Gearboxes grind, flywheels whine, but reverse it does. Your ears pop. Was the pressure increasing in the submarine all this time? The noise of shearing kelp rattles the hull. The ship is free. After an interminable minute, you put her back to a full stop. A deep silence settles over the ship. The bosun breaks the quiet. "Bastard, cut the control wires and the engine telegraph. We're dead in the water until we fix this." The helmsman's expression is blank. Is he an Admiralty spy? A saboteur from a rival pirate crew? A past victim of the Zubmariner, out for revenge? In the bosun's eyes, you see only cold hatred and fear. He stands up and shoves the sailor against a bulkhead. "Let's wait for the captain. Don't take your eyes off this one." He doesn't say anything to the helmsman. No attempt at communication. So we have a few options here. We can persuade the helmsman to cooperate, using our persuasive. We can try a secret Corsair sign. I think we picked this up by, yes, doing the evolution storyline when we became a Corsair. We can try a secret Admiralty code. He's probably a spy for the Commodore. You should signal your own allegiance. Simply ask why. Direct to the point. Reveal nothing of your intentions. Let's go with the Corsair sign. You open your mouth to speak. Whatever you are about to say never makes it past your lips. The sailor's skull splits open as the steel head of an axe comes down. Following the haft of that axe, you find the Unsanctioned Zubmariner. She has arrived and cuts the man down as one might a weed in their garden. Blood everywhere. It's like his insides are just blood. No bones or brain to speak of. No, it's not like that. His insides are just a mass of blood. The features of the man you knew as the helmsman were only a paper-thin skin wrapped around the red. That skin is already starting to slough off and break away. The blood is thick and viscous and alive. Something slithers inside the red. Something longer than a man. Something shaped like an eel. Something with long, needle-like teeth. Something springing, slithering, leaping. Oh God. Let's move out of the way, because we do not have a bone harpoon, because I've never done hunting. Let's, I think we need watchful, right? Only an 80% chance, huh? Okay, well, cross your fingers. Of all targets in the room, it's chosen you, because of course it has. It leaps at you like a cobra, and you have no chance of getting your body all the way out of its path, but you manage to grab its body before those jaws reach all the way to your face. It snaps, twitches, squirms, flees. Your hands are bloodied and empty. The eel-like thing is slithering away, wending its way into the pipes and wires among the bulkheads. The Zubmariner only has 2 words. After it! A blood-red scion? Well, this is very interesting, isn't it? A trail of blood snakes its way through steel, and you follow. You, the bosun, and the captain stand close together and move, slowly, from the engine room forward. There's so little space in this steel hulk. There are so many places to hide. Let's search the ship. look behind the pipes, in the crew's lockers, in every nook and cranny. It went that way. A dent in a bulkhead. There. Blood on the other side of the steel. It must have squirmed through here. Keep searching. The trail seems to have run cold. It can't be behind us, the bosun reassures. Onwards. We'll find signs of it yet. Failed that one. Let's try again. We succeeded again. The door into the storage locker. Innocuous, if not for the bloodied puddle underneath. The bosun gestures that you be quiet. The bloody trail ends at a metal locker. One last dark, enclosed space where the thing must be hiding. The bosun's many limbs tense. He signals for you to open the door. Well, let's open the locker. You have the creature cornered. Throw open the door and reach in. Avoid those teeth. It is in your hands once more, squirming and slippery. It takes the help of the bosun to properly restrain it and hold its neck still. The captain deals the killing blow, driving a boot knife through the thing's skull. You feel dizzy and hollow, the aftermath of a frantic, protracted struggle. Blood everywhere. On your clothes, on the bosun, on the captain, on the bulkheads. She looks you in the eye, catching her own breath. Her blood-soaked face shows no satisfaction at what she has done. You slowly unclench your fists, letting the creature hang limply from the bosun's hands. Eel is a rough description of it, one that only becomes more inadequate the more you look. There's a terrible intelligence to its eyes, shaped like a man's. Inside the mouth, the needle-like teeth rise up in rows without end, like an angler fish with a lamprey's jaw. Its tube-like body seems more built to slither or burrow than swim. The Unsanctioned Zubmariner ponders how to explain what you've just seen. In the end, she opts against explaining at all. She slides a gloved hand down the creature's gullet and pulls out a handful of stones the size of pearls. "For a job well done," she says, and throws them at you. Let's examine her gift. You already know what they are. Uncut rubies, covered in blood. Exactly the kind you've been tracking all this while. So this is where they come from. They're the gizzard stones of deep-sea eels. Well, not eels. Deep-sea creatures. Creatures born of the mountain's blood. Creatures that might sometimes wear the skin of a man. This one is just a sample. There's a mother lode of these gems. That's our destination. Lequer, the centre, the Unterzee, where the blood clots. The search party disperses to wash off the blood, to go looking for a drink, to check in on the work of repairing the engines. This is your final chance to explore the ship before your voyage concludes. Okay, well I know that means the heart in French, right? And I think I'm going to end this episode right here, and in the next episode we shall conclude our voyage and see what actually happens in the centre of the Unterzee. I'm going to thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Your comments are greatly appreciated and help make other people find these videos and things. It really does help the channel grow. Thank you again to the members of the channel and the coffee supporters. It really does mean the world to me. And as always, I'll see you next time.